Welcome back to the Dark Elves Abridged, where last time we took out a whole bunch of Purple Lizardman territory and a couple of their small armies. Then after a load of false alarms with the Elves, we just ended up taking some Skaven territory, and generally things are looking quite good at the moment. We ended the last part with Lokhri being near an Elven army, and that army does come to attack him in their next turn, although it just besieges him for now. The real development is the arrival of the next wave of chaos, which I wasn't really expecting to happen, so this was annoying. Now we've got two more respawned stacks down near our home territory, and nothing nearby to stop them from doing some attacks yet again. I'm going to get this Black Ark out of the way and potentially try to use it as a distraction by keeping it somewhat near. And then we're going to have to get Shadesman, who just got done killing the Skaven, to run down the coast and go and try what he did last time, basically. Deal with the chaos somehow, perhaps after they've destroyed some of our territory. But before we see what happens, the Elves do then attack Lokhri in their turn. We have a small garrison to use, which is quite nice here, because they're perfect sacrifices, lots of tiny small units to distract the AI with, and it doesn't matter if they just get run over and die instantly, so it supplements our usual Shades strategy. We start things off by bombarding the enemy as usual, and they were being particularly indecisive. Many of the units were walking side to side, some of them are going backwards, and that's just delaying the inevitable really, meaning we get more shots on them before they make a decent attack against us. Here's a skirmish between their 4 chariots and our Shades. I'm guessing the ranged chariots aren't actually very good at ranged combat because they only have 4 archers, so it can't be that much of a threat. They've got a dragon parked on our left flank, which is great because they seem to be waiting for something there, and they're in range of the Shades, so we get a bunch of free damage right away. Now I've got Lokhri on this side of my formation as well, and I thought, well, let's just go out there and try to kill their lord right away, using the fact that Lokhri is a Sword of Cain plus 999 damage. Means we'll probably win even with less starting health. They did get a Dragon Breath attack off on Lokhri before he engaged, so we do start at like half strength, but still we'll be okay with that Sword of Cain. Here we are a moment later, the garrison's out there ready to sacrifice itself against the enemy's infantry, and the enemy dragon has kind of turned around, so now it's being shot by the Shades and attacked by Lokhri. And there we go, we take out the enemy lord. It looks like he's immortal, but that's going to give all these other units a morale penalty, and this Sword of Cain probably isn't going to help them either, killing some Swordmasters there. And if its random movement causes it to hit my lines, that's fine as well, because my line is just the single file rank of garrison. They do have a dragon in amongst our Shades, but I netted it and then attacked with the Reaver. I expected that to do pretty much nothing, but actually the Reaver's going to do quite well against him. We're having some trouble on the right there. They've got some dragon princes killing my Shades, and I've no easy answer to that, nothing available to take them out right now. I did have some dread spears there, but I think they died virtually instantly upon trying to engage. Lokhri is going to deal with that Phoenix, and the dragon was dealt with by the Reaver, which as I mentioned was unexpected. Maybe this was a day where its attack animation didn't glitch out or something. It seemed to kill that dragon really fast for some reason. Usually it's barely doing anything when I deploy the Reaver against things. Anyway, that aside, as you can see on the balance bar, we've killed enough stuff that we're going to win with the army losses morale penalty, and as things start to run away, we'll pick off a few more extra targets. We're going to grab that dragon with the bolt throwers and run out to kill a few of the fleeing infantry as well. Because this is a defensive battle, the enemy will be able to retreat. We'll need to kill them again in a sec. We lost 1 full unit of spears and the whole garrison, but of course that doesn't matter. And even the full unit of spears will just come back. You know the drill by now. I've been getting through dread spears units very quickly in this campaign, so just another sacrifice. And off they go. As soon as it's my turn again, I move right out and attack the survivors. Not much there. And that's that done. Another elven stack out of the way, and this opens up the opportunity for us to keep going up this road towards this place they've got up here. The only other option that I had in mind was to instead go to the west, because I was originally thinking that ruin there, which is in the same province, is probably some weak Skaven. That would be an easy capture. But in this case, it's kind of more convenient to just keep going and go for the elven place. So I move up. Looks like there are some Skaven trying to rebel there as well. We'll raid for now. And as it turns out, I can go for that other ruin with Missile. She can just about reach it. But it wasn't Skaven, it is an actual ruin, which is a rare thing to find. This is actually pretty disappointing because fighting Skaven and taking the settlement is free, but I have to give up troops and money to actually make a settlement. I decided to do it so that we secure the province, But still, a little bit annoying. Now we'll have to replenish a turn and waste cash on that. Probably quite useless settlement for a long time. It was at this point in the campaign where I suddenly thought, wait a minute, haven't I like won yet? So I decided to check the victory conditions, and we actually have just about got the short victory conditions I was going for. I've got the 12 of 12 provinces needed. I'm missing some buildings. I'm guessing some sort of high level or unique buildings in certain locations that I guess I could probably make if I actually looked into how to do it. The thing that's actually holding me back from technically getting the screen saying you've won the campaign is this whole have 8 particular regions, because of the list of places you can get to count towards the 8, most of them are really far away, and this kind of undermines the whole having 12 provinces as the objective, because while we've got 12 provinces now, we're nowhere near getting most of the possible things for this list. There were 2 of them that were somewhat close, but most of them are on the other side of the map. So it seems we have to crusade around and take some random locations to meet this victory criteria. I don't think it really works out. Maybe that whole section could just be scrapped for the short victory. But anyway, I'm going to put you on notice because I consider myself to have sort of won the campaign. So at this stage, it ends when I'm bored, basically. Now Chaos come in to do their thing, and while I did fight this exact battle last time it happened, I had more men that time, and this time I care less, so I was like, well, I'll just let them raise it, we'll deal with the situation when Shadesman comes down again, and we'll just rebuild it again, and by that point I'm sure Chaos will show up again. Looks like some Skaven attacked that elf place I'm currently going for. However, by the time I get there, the very next turn, there appears to be no damage done, so I guess they didn't achieve anything. Any damage they did was just instantly replenished. Anyway, as for the fight that we face, it's a very easy one, a field battle against not even a full stack of low-level elf troops. So I thought surely I don't have to, and yes, this time I was right to think that. We actually get a fine auto-resolve, we'll get all our troops back right away, and indeed we take the province. So there we go, let's skip that. And that also kicks the elves off the continent once again. And now, with Lokhri having nothing else in particular to do, we can start thinking about taking a bit of revenge on the elves. Down here with Chaos, one of their armies has gone to besiege the Star Tower, and here, because the Star Tower is really upgraded, it's got this massive garrison, I thought, well, it's probably fine to just completely ignore them because they won't be able to take it unless they siege it down for the 15 turns and we surrender, but they probably won't. If it looks like we're going to do that, we can kill them later. For now, Shadesman is going to go after the other army which is currently encamped in our territory, annoyingly out of our movement range this time. Now Lokhri moves out of Monument of the Moon, firstly to grab this sea treasure thing, giving us reduced upkeep, that's a good bonus to have, and also to go towards the Elven Island, because I want to do something to them, not really sure what, but I was just like, I need some kind of revenge for this campaign. The elves need to be taught a lesson, and now that we're here, maybe there's some way to do it. And this place here caught my eye, this Vol's Anvil. Looks like it's got a giant garrison, but it also looks like a very suitable base for a Dark Elf expedition. It's got this kind of grimy, badass volcano aesthetic going on, plus it's got its back to a mountain, so it's a really strategic location that would be great for defending if the elves came at us in force. Given all that, I thought, well, let's just try and take it, no matter what's there. We'll send Lokhri over. I can also bring up a Black Arc using the extra movement range stance to get there for next turn, meaning we'll have some Black Arc abilities to help with the Siege Assault as well. During the end turn sequence, Chaos get up to no good. First, they try to kill themselves, running at the Star Tower with no balance bar available there for them. Not sure why they decided to attack so early. I think the AI is just being generous to me and making them die. So there we go, they're gone, but the other army is annoyingly going to run away from Shadesman. It's going south towards that other place they raised last time, so we really are having the exact same experience with the whole Chaos invasion. Pretty annoying, takes a couple of turns to get down there for Shadesman as well, so we can't deal with that right away. If you're wondering what Miss Missiles is up to, she is kind of pointlessly putting down a Purple Lizard Man rebellion. I think the garrison there probably could have beat that on its own, but I guess she was in the area. She's just kind of hanging around dealing with public order right now. She's going to do our interior business. While Lokhri is now arriving at Vol's Anvil, and this place does have a maximum level settlement with the maximum level defense upgrades as well, so it's going to have really good towers and it's got a big garrison. Although a lot of the units in that garrison are nothing our shades can't bring down, in particular those axemen will be weak against shades. The only issue is going to be their defenses. The towers will kill everything in our army super fast because they're really upgraded. So we need to try and do what we did against the dwarves previously basically. We need to take out the towers and try to kill as much stuff using our ranged advantage as possible and just try to win with that. First things first, someone needs to die to stop the towers from shooting at my bolt throwers while the bolt throwers shoot the towers, and that's what these dark shards are for. But they are dying real fast. Just a couple of volleys from these max level towers obliterates them. I think before we've only been facing the lowest level tower, the rank 3 defensive upgrade. This is the rank 5 version, where the shots have area of effect damage and it shoots 2 at a time, and broadly speaking, we're dying fast. The only upside is that the more they kill us, the less we die, because our units are getting smaller and there's less stuff for the enemy to hit. So yes, in the meantime, the bolt throwers will be shooting at these towers, and this one is about to go down. There it goes. Now we're only going to be dying at half the speed. Unfortunately, 2 towers are shooting at us to start with because the enemy's towers are quite close together on this map. And that is because the wall only goes partially across the length of the map. You can see there's this really more defensible looking location that isn't actually part of the wall. But the upside of that is it means all of my stuff that isn't fighting yet is just sitting in the corner and can easily be out of the tower's line of fire. And on a similar note, it was at this point I sort of noticed the background and I was like, wow, this is probably the winner so far for the map with the best level design in the background to mock you with your nice boring foreground level design where it's just a gate and 2 sets of stairs or something, and that's the entire route to the capture point. It's a strange situation where I kind of think if the background was as plain as the foreground, it would give a better impression perhaps. As for what we're going to do in this battle, now it's time for the bolt throwers to kill enemies up on the wall. There's this one bit of wall here where there's not much cover in front of where the enemy is standing, so that's a nice place to fire at. And what I'm doing is firing manually and then hitting halt to target units that are standing in places that are vulnerable. And then the halt is because if you shoot a second volley right away, there'll probably be kind of only a few guys still in position and most of your shots won't do anything. So you want to hit some enemies, clear some space in their formation, and then like right here where they just fill it in again with something else, we wait, then give the order to fire again, we get a nice fireworks show and start blasting this unit as well. Annoyingly, the bolt throwers are all shooting at the same part of the unit, so it's not distributing damage that effectively. Looks like I gave the shades the order to fire this time as well. We'll fire a couple of volleys in, just flatten some enemy archers, and then once there's not much left there, we stop firing and wait for more targets to become available. We can also use the Cauldron Black Arc ability on the wall. Normally if you use this on a unit that's not engaged, it just runs away and this does no damage. But on the wall, they kind of stay in their garrison position, so you're free to just blow them up with Black Arc abilities. And there we go, we flatten that unit of archers. And once all the archers are dealt with on the wall, we can move the shades in even closer and shoot at more things that are behind the wall as well. Things did get a little bit spiced up when the enemy's bolt thrower started to attack us. For some reason it kind of did nothing for a while, but eventually it started shooting forwards, shooting with single bolts for some reason at first, and then opening up with the multiple bolts. I tried to shoot it with my bolt throwers, but we were never able to get the range or the angle on it for some reason. I think maybe it being slightly higher than us gave it better line of sight on stuff. At least we can now get to the meat of the killing. The shades are now close to the wall, and all of these white lion units, which are probably really good in melee, just die instantly when the shades attack them. They have no missile block chance due to no shield, and the shades damage is virtually all armor piercing damage, meaning while I'm sure that's a highly armored unit, it still takes regular damage, and they just die instantly. The only solution for them right here is to not stand there and get shot. But the AI is not willing to experiment with that radical tactic. Here you can see I'm standing there and getting shot because these archers are shooting me. I did say I wanted to kill all the archers before I moved up. And this is because the replay is actually slightly different. Things were going better in the real battle than they're going here. I had already cleared out the walls by the time these shades moved up. We'll see a bit of the real footage in a sec. Here was another thing I tried out. There was some axemen who came up onto the wall and I hit them with a breath attack. Here it kind of doesn't look that powerful because they were already more damaged than they were in reality. And in the actual battle the shot went down the wall a bit more and killed more stuff. But anyway, it's still going pretty similar. Threw down a Sword of Cain to clear out that unit that's standing just in the gate, since we can't get line of sight on them. Plus our Hydra is gradually opening that gate up for us so we can go in and finish this battle off. Their leader was chilling just behind the gate, so Lokhri goes down to just kill him real fast with the old Sword of Cain equipped. A couple of hits is enough to finish him off. I think I already damaged him with some magic or something as well. And that was that. Now you can see the shades are getting ready to come through the gate. The enemy is still here, but basically they weren't there in reality. And here we can see that once the shades are in, they get stuck in a mixed melee with these archers hanging about who just aren't supposed to be there. Anyway, so we move in and use the shades to clear out everything else inside the town. Here's the real footage now. You can see things are looking a bit clearer. There were just a couple of enemy units around by the time we were actually through the gate. My plan was to have Lokhri go over and take the capture point for us, because there's there are two dragons flying just above it, and I figured with our Sword of Cain we can probably take them with our one dragon even if we're damaged. And indeed that is the case, especially because the army losses morale penalty is now going to stack up. And we don't need to damage the dragons that much to get rid of them. Looks like I was misclicking there and throwing a cauldron into the background for some reason. I was looking around trying to find something to use the other Black Ark abilities on, but no, the enemy are just too dead. So yes, soon enough we've killed everything, and here is the final result. We lost both of our Dark Shards units from the beginning, but that was kind of to be expected, and that's a worthy trade to have taken this max level place with really no other casualties apart from those guys. It's not going to be max level for long though, since capturing it does de-level it. Couldn't resist doing the loot and occupy here. I was really considering not doing it so that we can maintain public order easier and perhaps move away without this place just rebelling. But no, I like the money. So yes, now we've got a level 4 settlement. And my plan is to build it up as much as possible. We want to get the defensive structures in to make a nice big garrison. And there's also this thing you can get at max level, which gives you 2 dragons in your garrison, the thing the enemy clearly had there. And the plan is, with all that stuff together, we'll make a settlement that can probably hold on against at least one stack of enemy troops, so that it can be a nice distraction and a nice redoubt while we go around with Lokhri and get up to no good. Although not for a while, because I want to replace all of the missing units in his army. And our Black Ark will be able to do that for us starting next turn, and I'm going to spend a few turns recruiting good units like the Hydras, so we'll just leave that for now. In the meantime, we've got some settlements to lose, because first, we get one of these random rogue factions declaring war on us, and it turns out they're already set up to attack Pox Marsh, so suddenly we're seeing this battle. They've just got absolutely loads of trolls, and I was trying to work out, does that mean this will be really easy or really hard? And I think it kind of depends. They're kind of leveled up, which somewhat negates the trolls' main weakness, and that is that they can be routed quite easily. In the end, I just didn't bother fighting it, and I was like, oh, just do what you want with Pox Marsh. I don't really want it anyway, I always just lose it whenever I get it. But they actually let me keep it, they just sack it and then sit there. So not much is happening there, but we need to kill them at some point. Here's a more annoying move. Those Chaos Forces do go and attack Mangrove Coast here. I've actually got a pretty big garrison, and again I just threw it away, but this time I was more regretful about doing that in retrospect. After a couple of turns I started thinking maybe I should have tried to kill them back then, that would have been better. Then what happened instead, and that is that they started just moving annoyingly. Right there they've moved into a swamp where I can't reach them this turn, for example. Looks like we've got a lizard man uprising up top there. Missiles will have to go deal with that. But yes, with this Chaos Force, it's now standing out of Shadesman's movement range, and it's a case where I can go around to the bottom or around to the top, and the way I go will probably be the way they don't go, and we'll end up still just pursuing them. Decided to go up top because there are more possible targets in this direction, so based on what the AI is trying to do, they're more likely to walk towards me. But they end up going out into the sea instead, which in many ways is the most annoying thing, because now they can just go anywhere. I have to use a bunch of movement points getting into the sea myself to start pursuing them. But I did think, I'm not going to mess around anymore, I will just pursue them. So I put Shadesman in the sea. We're just going to directly target that Chaos stack and try to get it somewhere. I've also got this new Lord who will go and rebuild the stuff that Chaos blew up. And we've got some Quran forces inbound by the looks of things. Her stack is coming in to the north. Miss Missiles, though, has some good news for us. She can reach that rebellion and put it out of its misery right now. That place that we just rebuilt already has a bit of a garrison, so we might have been able to take it out if we just sallied there. but that guaranteed it, and Miss Missiles is now going to go east out to sea to actually go and help Lokhri, although we won't see any more of that in this part. The Chaos Navy goes and attacks this Black Ark, which again I've forgotten about, so it's totally in range and totally gets killed. But you can also see they've made a new lord, back where they were before they moved. There's now another Chaos fleet with just one guy in it. Since they are a horde, they can make new armies on the fly. So now I have two things to pursue. It's getting more and more annoying. I hoped that maybe after they killed the Ark, I could then go and attack them. They'd still be in range, but no, they're not in range. So again, I have to try and predict where they're going to go, and either they'll end up even further away, or we'll get lucky and we'll get close enough to fight them. I figured that by rebuilding Mangrove Coast there, we might be tempting them in. They might want to go and attack that super easy to attack settlement now. So Shadesman should go near to it this turn, ready to defend. But I also couldn't resist attacking this one guy. Annoyingly, he runs away. If I pursue him, I then wouldn't be able to get back down to Mangrove Coast. Actually, I'm not quite sure with the full speed enabled, but I played it safe and used full speed to get back down there right now, hoping Chaos would come right towards me or something. Before the Chaos turn, this happens again. Poxmarsh was rebuilt, or the garrison replenished itself almost to the max, and then these guys attack again. It's the same result, and it seems there's going to be a cycle there. They've fixated themselves on Poxmarsh, but they don't want to take it, I guess, because they're a rogue faction that can't really take territory or something. So we'll just leave that going until we can eventually resolve it. And with Chaos, no, they don't go towards Shadesman, they're just sailing off again, so now they're going to be super far away, and of course they have that other one general, which might go and start recruiting units. Since it is a horde, it can become another full stack over time. At this stage, I put Shadesman into full speed and just sailed in amongst them. Even if they gang up on me, we can probably beat them in the battle, so we just want to try and get close enough to them that they might end their turn in our movement range. Meanwhile, our rebuilding crew is going to go and do the next rebuild. If Chaos are going to sail off, we can at least get these places back up and running again. Looks like that Quran invasion has come down to the Blood Swamps, and this is where they attacked last time as well, so I'm guessing that's what they're interested in. Going to need to clear that up as well soon enough, and it's actually a little bit worse than that, because over by the Galleon's graveyard we do get line of sight on another Quran stack coming in, and there is actually a third one around there as well that I haven't quite seen yet. So overall, Shadesman has a lot of mess to clear up down on the continent, but I'm more interested in just playfully killing the elves up here with most of our troops. As I said, I sort of consider myself to be near victory in this campaign, so I just wanted to achieve something for my own personal satisfaction. We see the first hints of the elves coming towards Vol's Anvil here. Set up an ambush outside to see if they would come and fall into it. But they actually just moved off in their turn after this, so we'll still be coming back to the Lokhri situation a couple of turns in the future. And that will be the main focus of the next part, unless clearing up the mess at home does actually take most of our attention, hoping we can just kill those armies real easily, and move towards some sort of satisfying conclusion that will hopefully involve bringing down Lothern's capital, since it's kind of near to Lokhri right now. I'll have to see what I can do.